Hi, I'm Julia Boyd, and I am here with George Torres. Introduce yourself.
Pleasure. Yeah, I'm George Torres. I'm a producer, writer, director, all those things.
All those things.
For multiple production companies, but yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cool. So I'm just going to be asking you a couple questions today, get to know you a little bit better, and hopefully some of the viewers at home will also get to know you a little bit better. So first of all, where are you from originally?
I grew up in Fort Worth, a little town called Watauga. People call it Watauga, which is hilarious, but yeah, it's Watauga, Texas. Grew up there, and yeah.
Dang, nice. So you've lived in Dallas pretty much your whole life, or Fort Worth, technically?
Yes, I lived in Fort Worth my whole life. Briefly, I've visited other places, like I've been to Mexico, I've been to, various states in the United States. I've been to Cancun and all that good stuff.
So tell me a little bit about what it was like growing up sort of in Fort Worth, just with your experience.
Childhood was great. Loved the neighborhood. I remember growing up and playing, pickup football games, tackle back in the day, wasn't frowned upon, so we'd play tackle, growing up. I remember I used to suck horribly, I didn't know anything about football. I only started really playing football in middle school. But before that, I was really into video games. Never got to own any video games for myself because my dad was like, don't waste your time over there, go outside. And so I would go outside and then just go to someone's house and then we'd just play like Halo or whatever on Xbox or whatever, which is hilarious. But I mean, I appreciate it, got to get out there and meet people and stuff. And yeah, it was great. I loved my childhood, often outside, and yeah.
So how were your parents? Were they initially supportive of you pursuing film, or were they kind of more on the fence, or how was that like?
Okay, so originally when I got out of high school, I was in a band. I thought that's what I was gonna do. I thought I was gonna be a musician. I did that for 2.5 to 3 years or whatever, and it was very fun. We got to play shows. I got to play music. It was great. It was a great time. We made songs. No one will ever find those. I'll wipe those off the internet, so thank God.
Oh, like SoundCloud
at least
release
I pray.
what?
No. But yeah, that was. I remember those fondly. But obviously, some things aren't meant to be, and that crumbled. And so, luckily, while I was doing that, I was also kind of going to college. I was going to community college at TCC. Shout out TCC. And,
the same as E-Man.
Yeah, yes.
Oh, wow.
I didn't see him there though.
That's crazy.
I was only taking like 1 or 2 classes a semester or whatever. And then after the music thing kind of ended, I went full in on schooling and stuff, and got to UNT 2019, almost 2020, and that's how I met all of you guys and stuff. But yeah, my mom. She's always supportive of everything, but only loosely. She's just like, oh, that's George. He's just doing his thing, kind of, But my dad, he, obviously loved my mom, but my dad really, really super supportive. I went to college for kinesiology, which is, science of the body. And I did that, with the full intent of being a football coach. My dream was to be the Dallas Cowboys football head coach. And I wanted to win them a Super Bowl. It was funny, but that was what I went to college for. And I actually met Emmanuel and everybody that I've worked with on all my films at UNT. And I started telling my dad, hey, I'm making these movies while I'm doing this thing, getting my degree. And I'll never forget, he was like, I would keep doing that if I were you, son. Like, that sounds like a promising future, because he's known me my whole life or whatever. And then he saw my first movie and he was all in. He's keeps talking to me, when's the next movie? Like, he's his own made man. He owned a sound company and does venues and concerts, and is very, very into the equipment and production side of concerts and stuff like that. And he's always asking me, why don't you buy this slide, or let's go in on this camera, or do you have the right amount of lenses? He's fantastic. He's great. So I really appreciate that. So my parents have always been supportive, and I owe a lot to them,
Yeah.
So hopefully I get to repay them back with a promising future and a lot of money. Right?
Yeah, that's awesome. That's the dream, right? It really does make like a world of a difference when you have parents and teachers and friends and everybody supporting you. So that's awesome. I'm really happy for you that was the case. So like, where specifically did you like start realizing that you wanted to do film? Was it at UNT? Was it at community college, or?
During quarantine, maybe I shouldn't have said that, but you know, it was during 2020, unspecified time.
We didn't know
he
what was
called
going
me
on.
and he called me and he made this movie by himself at his own home with just his family and friends, and he told me to watch it, and I watched it, and I gave him my feedback, or he asked for feedback, and I gave him my feedback, and he thanked me or whatever, and that conversation was that. I remember I was outside on my patio, and then, you know, maybe not even a month later, maybe 2 weeks later, he calls me again, and I'm in the same situation. I'm on my house in Denton, and I go out on my back patio, and he asked me to help him out on a film that he's been thinking about, and to act in it and stuff. And you know, we go out to eat, we meet about it, we talk about it, and of course, he's got all of our other friends in it. You know, first time filmmaker kind of thing,
Yeah.
and I didn't know what I was doing. Right, I had no idea. But instantly on, you know, the first set I was on, I already knew I love this. You know, it's so fun on set, creating stuff out of almost nothing. You know, creating stories and whatnot, super fun, and I've been hooked ever since. You know, I can't get enough of it.
Yeah, it's an addiction.
It really is.
I feel you there. So for more of like a fun question for now, if you could have like an infinite amount of money to make any movie, like the movie of your dreams, what would that look like?
There's an older movie. It's not that old, but it's early 2000s. It's called Troy. It's this, you know, Greek epic kind of, you know, old fantasy, loosely historical movie, and it has like Brad Pitt in it. I think Orlando Bloom's in it. It's just a fun movie I believe it's about the siege of Troy, an Odyssey tale, and I've always really liked those grand epic, you know, movies, especially the Greek mythos, and I don't know why, but I really liked, you know, Achilles, Brad Pitt's character in that movie, and I always thought those scenes were so cool. You know, obviously being a 10-year-old or whatever, watching those,
so cool.
yeah, just fighting with the swords and stuff. I thought that was so cool. So, and I know unfortunately that in the late 2010s or early 2010s, those movies really died out because they stopped making the returns on the investments that the producers were making on those movies. So if I had an infinite budget, I would like to bring those movies back. You know, try to stay as far away from CGI as possible, be authentic and realistic as possible, but still have really cool, epic scenes and characters, especially the fight scenes and stuff. But yeah, I would like to not remake Troy, but make a movie in that world, if that makes sense. I think that would be really enjoyable, and it's something that audiences would like to see come back, you know, because I personally miss those. And I know I've seen on YouTube that people remake those fight scenes all the time and stuff, so that would be really fun.
That's super cool. I want to see that. If and when that happens, if and when you have infinite amounts of money, you should make that, and I'll watch it. So you said Troy is that one of your favorite movies of all time, or just
I get asked this question so often, and I'm always ashamed of my answer just because so little people have seen it, and if they have seen it, they hate it. But my favorite movie is called 2001: A Space Odyssey by Stanley Kubrick, and I can't really pinpoint a specific reason why it's my favorite movie. But I grew up with a father who was deeply into sci-fi movies, and that kind of rubbed off on me, you know, early on with Star Wars and later on with like the Alien movies, for example. And I remember he would always not recommend, but, you know, mention a movie called 2001: A Space Odyssey by Stanley Kubrick. And one time I was, you know, I think still in high school. I think I was 17 at the time. Saw it on Netflix, and I didn't even look at the runtime. I don't know why. 3-hour-long movie. You would think that would deter me, but I clicked on the movie, and man, I don't know. I was just enthralled with it. Just the singular vision and the scope of the movie. It's the way it's written in a 3-act structure. I don't know. Just everything about the movie just screams genius to me, personally. And I love the movie. I love the behind the scenes features on it. How these mad lads came up with this sound stage that's this big to replicate Africa or whatever, and these guys in these freaking rubber suits, freaking melting inside, just for the love of art making, or for the love of filmmaking. And yeah, I just love that movie. I love that movie. I love the story. I love everything. Stanley Kubrick is a genius. I think he's one of my favorite film directors of all time.
Yeah.
He's made, I don't know why, but all of his movies seem so different yet so
good.
Yeah, good is a
That's a very vague term.
Yeah, it's a vague term. I don't not specific, but so masterful. His movies are so masterful, in my opinion. You know, Full Metal Jacket, to Eyes Wide Shut, to Barry Lyndon, to 2001: Space Odyssey. There's, in my opinion, there's such completely different stories, yet he masterfully engrossed himself into those stories and was able to make a unique vision that I don't think anybody else would make in that position. And it takes obsession. It takes, master at his craft. And it's unfortunate that he's, no longer with us. But I hold him in high regard. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have other favorite directors that you admire? Sounds like you really admire Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah. He's definitely my number one. But Christopher Nolan, I enjoy his. Personally, I like for the audience to feel like they're watching an epic story, a reason to go to the movie theaters to watch a worthwhile movie. And I really feel like Christopher Nolan really understands that aspect of filmmaking, and I enjoy that. There's many others, David Lynch, he makes very weird movies, and I appreciate that, Yeah, there's too many to name, but Christopher Nolan, I would say, was pretty up there.
Yeah, those are good ones.
Yes.
Yeah, those are some pretty influential directors. So, as a director yourself, what do you kind of hope to bring?
That's an interesting question. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I like to be the best, and I have that competitive drive in me, and it stems from a athletic background in football and all that stuff. This has been instilled in me from early stages of life, and I hope, I know right now I'm not the best, but I aspire to be in each and one of my projects. And whenever we make a movie, I want to make a movie that it's hard to look away from. Once you turn it on, and that's a hard part, getting people to click on your movie. But once they click on it, I want them to be enthralled and immersed in our movies, to understand them full-heartedly, and to believe that these guys know what they're doing. I like their stories. I want to continue to support them and all that stuff.
And speaking of production companies, do you also have another production company that just came out recently?
Yes, ma'am. It's called Silent Wolf Productions. What I aim to do with this production company is specifically produce movies, whether that be my own or whether that be someone else that is funding to have their movie produced. We're also looking into acquiring scripts, equipment, just an overall production company. We do any and everything. We'll edit your movies. We'll do sound for your movies. We'll run out equipment. My dream for this production company is to put this DFW area on the map, if that makes sense. And I'm sure everybody wishes that, but I truly aim through hard work and obviously networking and, proliferating funds through equipment and cast and crew members, and just momentum, sheer momentum. I truly aim to put DFW on the map and then as a whole, and reward all the people that have put such hard work in my films, my personal films and films that I've worked on, because I truly feel like they should be rewarded monetarily, through admiration, through, what's the word? Acknowledgement. Yeah, recognition. That was a good word too. It's hard to keep telling people they did a great job and that they're valued until other people start saying it, if that makes sense, and start seeing it. So that's what I really want, is to have the people around me acknowledged.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for once again talking to me and being
you.
so open and honest. And yeah, I appreciate you being here. And thank you to those who are watching. And just thank you for being here.